think we're going to dive right into it because we have 20 minutes and we're going to really get deep in terms of luxury resale and what that means for you and your business and how Fashable is working with you. So I'm going to start with, luxury resale is operationally very complex, right? Because you're not selling a brand new product that has, we just talked about this, that has serial numbers and descriptions and all that kind of stuff. They come in all different conditions and so forth. And so from everything from searching to pricing to merchandising, where are you seeing AI create the biggest step change in Luxclusif today?
Well, I think when people think about AI, they think about like the customer experience. Within pre-owned and resale, it's super operation heavy, and which means that like there are a lot of processes that they need to be repeated. And they're prone to be improved like through AI. So where we see, and particularly because Luxclusif acts as a B2B actor within this space, we see a lot of opportunity within operations. So like from the process of acquiring products, processing them, making them available to be sold, and all of those processes in between, like there's a huge opportunity for AI to support us on that. So that's what we have been exploring the most.
And obviously, without disclosing too much, are there any specific use case that you're the most excited about where you're applying AI today?
So we're quite excited about anything that actually allows us to identify and standardize products. So saying that like product A and product B, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
And with that, help us extract the insights, not only to process it and make it available to be sold, but also then to understand like what has been previous performance, so those cases are very, very good. So particularly with the partnership that we have with Fashable has been quite important, because like we really exploring like how can we fast track that process, making sure that we identify the right characteristics of the products, that we can improve like anything that is related to pictures.
Yeah.
So that like ultimately it's speed to market, but it's also cost.
Got it. And I guess, Orlando, to you then, I mean, this is obviously a super exciting use case. How are you investing in the solutions and technology? Like, how are you seeing AI from your perspective in terms of helping Luxclusif?
This was a very strategic partnership for us. It's not like a customer, because we are learning a lot from Luxclusif. We are mainly focused on brands, platforms, so they have the face to the customer. And with Luxclusif, we see another phase. So what is the internal process? And since I share with the Howe team different models that we are working, we see some matches. So for instance, on the matching, so from an image, what is the real product that they already have on the catalog, or they can prepare the image for the PDP, so they can send that, because sometimes the supplier doesn't give very good data or very good image, and we need to prepare that for the catalog. So that was the synergies that we saw, and we start working these different use cases, let's say 2 use cases, because we learn a lot also that the learning that we got from these use cases, we prepare the platform for other brands. For instance, we learned that the PDP have huge rules and guidelines. The shadows, the position, the everything is very particular measure. And with that, we can show now to the final brands the final PDP following the brand DNA, the guidelines, so to be exactly as they want. So that was the process that we start working with Luxclusif. We fine-tune the models to be aligned with their requirements. And with that, we can show now to the other brands that we follow the best practice.
No, that's really great. And I think from a result perspective, obviously the models, the intelligence layers play such a huge role in terms of how well the outputs are, right? And so the continuous fine tuning is really important. Maybe just a follow-up question to that is, when you're thinking about the continuous fine tuning of the models, how often do you do it? How important is it for you? And is it fine tuning your generic models, or is it specific to Farfetch or Luxclusif?
we usually fine tune for the brands. So we segregate the models, we fine tune the model for that brand, and all the data in the process is trained with the customer data, and all the results will be only for that customer. So is different models that are focused and fine tuned for that brand or that customer requirements. So that is the way that the brand, or better, the model can understand the brand DNA and what are the requirements for that brand or
Gotcha.
platform, or in this case, on the resale market.
Gotcha, gotcha. Maybe Roy, back to you in terms
Yeah.
of obviously we're talking a lot about images. This is a very exciting use case. It sounds like it's very central to luxury in terms of how it's discovered and evaluated. In terms of how AI-driven image processing, how do you see that change or impact your business model, your type of capabilities and talents that you have, your outlook into the future as these type of capabilities become more, more stable and mature?
Yeah, I think Orlando mentioned a little bit. Within resale, like imagery, I would say like it's extra important because we're speaking about like pre-owned items that like are unique, that they have flaws, and like a big objective, like and a good customer experience is connected to representing the item the best we can. So like in portraying all the issues it might have. So I think AI can support us a lot, like on identifying those flaws, like making sure that like the message passes to the customer at the same time. So like having more options in terms of like how the item is portrayed, like with different views, like using just a few shots, like being able like to provide different views using synthetic models, stuff that like in the past like was very expensive to do, and within resale because there's no stock depth. It becomes even more expensive because you cannot defer like that cost across multiple units. So it's 1 unit per SKU. I think like there's a lot of advantage, and then like also nowadays like images like it's not only just like it's also a way how customers also interact, and they can extract data. So also from there, so there's a wide array of use cases that we can basically explore by using AI, and like what before we needed a lot of different people to do. Right now, like we are exploring having significantly less people because we can retrieve that information from these images like in a pretty standardized way.
And just to follow up on that, I mean, Luxclusif focuses on B2B, right?
Yeah, B2B and B2B2C.
Right. And then you also come from a background where you've done B2C before as well. What do you think is the biggest difference?
I would say like, when you're running B2C, like you have a positioning, you know like how, well, as a retailer or as a brand, like how you want to portray your products. When you're B2B and you're working with these B2C players, like these retailers, you need to find a way to make the information about the products available in a way that is suitable to all of these platforms that might need different kind of information. And I think also going back to the point of how AI can help us there, you have an example of translations, and like before you would need to employ a lot of resources in order to get that. Right now it's easy. The same thing about we can enrich data to actually make sure that like certain products, and even like with the pictures, like to make sure that like it caters to a specific platform. So I would say that as a B2B player, you need to be much more specific, and have a wider set of information that like you make available to the different players out there.
Great. I guess, Orlando, this one for you. I mean, you get a broad view of the industry with all the customers that you're working with right now. The industry is moving from kind of search-led journeys to more conversational ones, or even agentic journeys, right? Even in B2B, we're starting to see agents acting on behalf of businesses and perhaps doing discovery, doing some of the search journeys as well. Where do you see kind of conversational AI and the most value in terms of in the luxury fashion experience? And this could be B2B or B2C, right? Like
No,
what's
I can focus on the B2B
Yeah.
because what I saw during the last months, let's say, is that the conversation piece can help also the internal teams on their work. So you can imagine that here we are showing mostly B2C, right?
Yeah.
But on the internal team, they are a customer as well. So they can interact with the conversation piece and say, okay, let's prepare here a set of the image for this region. So they, for instance, Asia. So they use us to create the same synthetic person that they have on the preset. They can create a different persona for that region with the data more oriented for that region as well. So we can use that conversation piece for the internal team. So that is my vision, and that was something that we want to sell to Rui, is that part that can be very useful because they spend a lot of effort to prepare data, to create the data, and also prepare the image. But we believe that this part will help, the conversation part can help. We need to test, of course, but can help the internal team, the new team members as well. So can help on the fast track to entering on the workflow and the process. So that is a vision, but let me know.
Yeah, like there's a lot of talk about like personalization in B2C, right? So like this is personalization version for B2B. So it's just like how can you actually improve like whatever you have, whatever you're providing to your partners in order to be more catered to their needs rather than like a one size fits all and before, like there were some adjustments that had to be made, but like they were more severely more complicated, or significantly more complicated. So I feel like that's exactly where AI can support us a lot.
and is that where you see your partners or your customers asking you? You mentioned Rebag is someone that you guys are working with. Are like what are they asking of you to get better at or do differently?
So like I think a lot of people like it's just like they want to remove the friction to integrate and to start working. So, if there are fields that they need and we don't have, that's a friction point. Right? So someone's got to give. So either they decide, okay, we'll not take these data points, or we'll have to find a way to just to create and to offer that data point. Being service driven. I think personally that like we should find ways to cater to our customers to the best of our ability. So I would say that's a big change and like and right now but significantly easier because of the tools that we can find nowadays in the market.
And again, what we talked early. So here AI can bring superpowers for these teams. So they can be faster, better, and with the same team members. So that is what we believe that can be a plus using AI.
All right, last question, because I think my timers is wrong. It's a little bit delayed, but looking ahead, right? Like obviously the AI landscape is evolving so quickly. Every week there's new models, new protocols, new benchmarks, new things that are happening. You know, how do you see agentic commerce evolving in luxury? Right now it's assisting, it's doing tasks, simple tasks. It's starting to become more goal oriented. It's starting to become more autonomous. We're starting to see more intelligent shopping and operational flows. What are your perspectives? And maybe Orlando, start with you. How do you see the future?
So today the teams they have usually different steps on their tasks, internal tasks, and the agent can be responsible for each task. So, for instance, let's say the example of the image, they get the image catalog from the customer, and we can put different agents to understand if the image that they got from the front, from the back, from the label is perfect as they follow the guidelines and make the assurance that, okay, they are following the guideline, and the operator can say, okay, I follow what these different agents are telling me, I approve. So that I think that agents can make different steps and different validations for the different process that they have internal.
How about you, Ray?
Yeah, like I think that's like on the internal, so operational, on the operational side of it. Like I would say on the commercial side of it, like I think a lot of it, even for B2B, like agents will be responsible for the first validation or identifying like opportunities, what makes sense. So a lot of the discovery part and the first initial analysis will be done by agents, and then with a layer of humans after. But ultimately, I think like everything is moving towards like a full scale automation where like probably we're no longer be selling to individuals. We're going to be selling to agents.
I can add something with a funny part. So 20 years ago, my master thesis was negotiation between agents. So that can be also a good, interesting between the negotiation between a company and other, a bit related with the price, for instance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, I want to thank you so much. A really
Thank you for
interesting
having me.
discussion. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks.